Hey, Pastor Steve Waldron. I hope you're having a great day or night in Jesus. Thanks for being with us. I want to do a video on coded theological language. Coded theological language. And as I'm trying desperately to make sure my microphone is right and on. So let's go ahead and get started. Coded theological language. When theologians get together, let's say on religious dialogue, there's some terminologies that different people may or may not use in everyday life, but it means something when you're in religious dialogue. Some people call it ecumenicism and all that type thing. I'll give you a classic example, like the term infallible. Well, you and I, we think infallible and inerrant are probably somewhat congruent, equivalent, or equal terms, but they're not. In theological dialogue, I apologize for the mic jumping off here, that infallible means the Bible's got errors in it, an untold number of errors, but it always works. It doesn't fail, even though it contains errors of whatever, fact, geography, science, on and so forth. That would be an example. And then when you say trustworthy, well, the Bible's a trustworthy document. Well, we would agree with that. But then when you're dealing in theological dialogue and you say trustworthy, it means, well, it's basically true in a lot of its statements. It's trustworthy, but it has errors of fact and even theology, and it may even fail sometimes. Because if it didn't fail, you would use the term infallible. So you have inerrant, which is a strong term, infallible, medium term, trustworthy is another term. Something else would be like the term cult. A lot of times people call somebody a cult. Well, in our broader world, a cult is something, like somebody's got you under mind control and making you do all kinds of stuff and brainwashing you and all this kind of stuff. But in theological jargon, a cult comes from that's where we get the term culture from. It just means common worship. It's a subsect. And so you might hear of the cult of Mary or something like that, that people just really put a lot of emphasis on Mary. And so somebody will be arguing, well, you're a cult. Well, then you say, no, we're not. We don't have any of these classic, we're not, authoritarian, we're not anti-intellectual, we're not any of these things. We're for free inquiry, go and come as you please, we're going to love you, regardless. There may be some theological actions that you take that God would honor. But, there's no oppression and making people stay against their will, nothing like that. We don't mean cult in that term. We mean cult as in dealing with people, a subsect of orthodoxy. We don't mean a cult in the loaded theological jargon of Jonestown, but a lot of them use it like that because they know how pejorative it is. So I just always, when somebody calls me a cult, I say, you're a cult. Because they are in a certain definition of that word. And if they're going to call me one, I'll call them one right back. Because it's the same definition. And if they want to play that game. And also in authoritarian regimes around the world, they don't make any difference between anything basically that's Christian in any true biblical sense. They would say it's cult and propaganda and all this kind of stuff. Another one is persons. When we dialogue on who God is here on the channel and we talk about persons, well, people in the pew think, oh yeah, that's 1, 2, 3. Well, almost no theologian believes that at all. They wouldn't believe God is 3 collateral persons. They would say, oh, we mean persons in a theological sense. Well, it doesn't come across that way, and people in the pew don't understand it that way. But obviously ancient theologians and down through the Middle Ages and modern theologians, if you believe in 3 collateral persons, almost every Orthodox Trinitarian is going to say that's tritheism. And that's not what they mean by the term persons. So there's a coded theological language out there you have to be very concerned about. Another one is necessary versus essential. I say, well, I believe baptism is necessary for salvation. Well, necessary means under most times that's what you should happen, but there's a tons of exceptions to that. Whereas essential means there is no salvation outside of that. So, but again, if you look up, in a Roget's Thesaurus or something like that, necessary and essential may be even synonymous terms, but not in theological dialogue. So you have to watch all this when you're reading books, especially written by theologians, because they may be writing in one way and meaning something else, and it'll deceive the masses. So it's good to know certain coded theological terms. Hey, you may want to comment down here. God bless. Thanks for watching. Please watch all our videos. Please, once again, forgive my mic issues at the beginning of this video, and we'll talk with you later. Hit the bell notification when you subscribe. Put it on social media. God bless. Bye.